trouble with primitives in any art form, painting, poetry, or music, is that they come a dime a dozen. You can trip over them in the streets. Anyone can present himself as a primitive when they might be quite simply untalented, or just lazy, or money-minded.
Money-minded. Oh,
That's
hey
fancy.
everyone! I'm full screen for some reason.
Look how big you are.
Welcome to Tavern Talk, a full spoiler discussion talk show based on the epic fantasy series The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan. Today we're talking about episode 7. I'm so glad everyone has taken time to be here. Joining us as always is my brother Dan.
There's the bar!
From the iDoobie, Domon, Twitch, and YouTube channel, and our good friend Smack.
Yo.
Smack. Where are you? Do you have somewhere people can find you? Are you on Twitter?
Not really.
Do you have an Etsy?
No.
Do you sell baseball cards? Okay. Well, no, it's Smack's a good friend of ours, and he has been running the Black Tower Podcast Fantasy League, And that's been a super fun thing where every week we go through the episodes and see if our characters scored or didn't score based on whether, I guess, they score, hubba hubba, or whether they take down some fools with some battle. But it's been fun, and that's on 11 a.m. Pacific on Sunday mornings. It's going to have one more week, but it's actually not going to be next week. It's going to be at the Gathering Madness. Black Tower Podcast's Gathering Madness will be the finale of the fantasy football whole shindig. It's been a great first. Is that this? This is the second run, correct, Spank?
Yeah, this is the second season. So.
All right, we are not doing well, are we, Brother Dan?
No, we're in fourth right now.
We have a chance. I think Tomas is going to come through for us in the end, Brother Dan.
That's fine.
Yep. Tomas is going to come in clutch. So.
Tomas and Ingtar.
All right, speaking of let's get into episode 7. That just reminded me. I have this whole... Well, you're right. Well, I mean, I'm going to start with my big first question. I have a lot of questions I want to ask you guys throughout this episode, but Tomas was next to Varen. He leaves. Ihvon says, I want to follow. They Rochambeau. Maxim wins. He gets the follow. And then nothing.
Nothing.
What do you think is going on with that?
Nothing.
Nothing. You don't think he's incapacitated in any way, shape, or form?
Okay, this is full spoilers, so don't feel free to speculate wildly about the books. My thought was that this is how he dies.
Tomas dies?
No, Ihvon. My prediction is Ihvon
dies. But Ihvon was still there at the end of the episode.
Was he? Am I wrong? He just popped back up?
Yeah, they were both with Alanna when she said, "You're not alone in this anymore. We're with you." To Moraine.
Oh, damn it. All right. Hey, we'll take that on post. Dan?
I'm pretty sure he was still there because I don't think he's going to die until next season. I do think he's going to die, or Maxim. One of them's going to die, but not until they are all on the Two Rivers. I think the whole setup of Tomas and Varen and Alanna all being there at the same time was to set them up to be like partners in crime, like they were in the Shadow Rising.
Tomas states specifically, more or less, may the light be with you. Or something. He says, if the light wills it, or he says something along those lines. Like good luck, but he says if the light wills it. Does that ring a bell at all to you guys? Am I just misremembering that?
I mean, what are you remembering it from?
Walk in the light while handing him a torch.
Okay, yeah.
Talks about the double fun there.
Yeah,
while saying walk in the light.
Right, but as we know, he's supposed to be a dark friend, right?
Yeah, correct. But he's not your average dark friend, though. He's the Varen type of dark friend. He's Varen's warder. And if you think about...
All right, and it says Tomas was there, but Ihvon wasn't. Is what Christopher Davis
Ihvon was there at the end of that episode.
Snack, as the judge, where do you reside? Was Tomas there? I mean, was Ihvon there at the end of the episode?
I know that Tomas was. I don't remember seeing Ihvon, but I don't remember. Like, I didn't look for him, so.
But wouldn't Alanna know if he was hurt or dead? Or
correct.
She would know.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean.
So he's just a really bad tracker. Is he still just skulking around looking?
He's looking around. Yeah.
Somewhere. He's like opens this door. Tomas.
Is he up that tree? Is he up this rock? Yeah.
See, I had predicted that it's going to be Ihvon. I think last episode. I didn't say which episode I think it's going to happen. I just think it's going to be happening, and I feel they foreshadowed it with that scene between Maxim and Alanna, where she was like tender towards him and touching his hair back, and right that whole scene between those two of them. That's the first time we've seen them as a duo, and kind of for me felt like it was foreshadowing what I think is going to be coming, because they have to work out that relationship if Ihvon dies. Ihvon and Alanna are tight.
Right.
But-
What does happen with a warder if a fellow warder gets killed? Is the bond? Is there a bond between them?
No, there's no bond between warders. The bonds are between the Aes Sedai and each individual warder. It's really when Rand gets bonded by all three of them where they have like an intermingled bond. And when Pavara bonded Andral and Andral bonded Pavara. But warders aren't bonded to each other. And you're right, I just rewatched the scene and Ihvon was not there. So
Yeah.
I don't know where he is right now. Who knows?
Uh-huh.
In the books, that's the way it went. But, I feel like we are exploring the water bond more than we did in the books because they had that little internal conversation with each other. And I don't know of any instance in the books where they had that, where the three of them could take a mental vote and a tally before we go off and make a decision together. So to me, I do think there's a little bit more. There could be a little bit more built into the water bond in the show than there is in the books. I'm not saying that for sure.
Maybe, but it's hard. It's hard to discern because they are just madly in love with each other, and
Right.
and that's a bond that's hard to calculate. Also, so yeah, to say what is what.
I think that's a great point, though, Smack.
We'd have to have some sort of like scenes where they're like sensing where the other person is somehow, or sensing how the other person's feeling. I don't know if we have yet to get that, and I don't believe we've gotten that in the books. Although that would be more fun, I think. I think that's a more interesting kind of.
Someone's like, "Where's
concept.
Ihvon?" And Maxim's like, "He just woke up. He has to go pee.
He's got to go.
pretty hungry.
He's got to go land. My new favorite sword form: land peas on a tree.
Land peas on a tree."
All right, so what does chat think? I guess I'm going to. No, we did a poll about that. Yeah, we'll just say, yeah, I'd love to hear what chat thinks about where Ihvon is by the end of the episode. Moving right along.
Is he out sleuthing still?
But this is just
Dude,
thinking, and I could be wrong, but don't they go see Logain after Ihvon follows Tomas? And wasn't Ihvon in that scene?
He was in that scene.
Was that after he followed Tomas?
I don't know if it was after. Yeah, then that's just kind of weird writing that like they don't follow up on that plot line. It's just kind of like he's.
so
just...
what do you guys think happened with that? Was Lan about to give him the key, and then Alanna and Maxim showed up, and he's like, "Oh, of course I would never do that. That would be really bad."
No, I don't think he was ever going to give him the key.
So he was just being bad cop, bad cop.
I mean, the anger in his voice and the loathing he had in his eyes when he talked to Logain at the end there, he was like, "You think I forgot about what you did to Cairhien and Stefan?"
Yeah.
That
They're my
was
friends.
deeply personal for him. So I don't think that he was ever intending on giving him the key.
Let me ask you, Smack.
I'm sorry, yeah, what are these two brown Ajas he's referencing? Are those the ones we met in the library?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
the Lushes?
Yes.
Okay.
Cho Chang and Friend.
So check it out. Let me ask you, Smack, the way it was described was that Logain says, yeah, there's thousands of little tiny threads all around her. But when we see Moraine through Rand's eyes, we see that little knot, like right in like her heart area. Was Logain full of shit? Could he see that knot? Was he describing that, or was he just making stuff up? I mean, what I saw wasn't necessarily what he described in my head. What do you think?
I didn't think it was exactly the same as the way that it was described, but I do feel like he could see something. I didn't feel like that was just a fabrication, if you will. I thought he really did see something. I didn't know if that was. No, I didn't think it looked the same, but I did think that he saw something.
Okay.
I
Beth,
don't really
I mean, the thousands of things. I mean, I guess if we call all those threads that make the knot, but I don't know. It's a weird description for what we saw and what Rand cut, as opposed to what Logan was describing to me.
Well, I think what we saw was the insertion point of where Rand broke through her shield instead of necessarily like the entire thing. He went right for a center point, and his weave touching the knot itself is probably what we visually saw.
So
I know,
now,
to be honest with you, I haven't really thought about it. I didn't get that granular in the discrepancies between thousands of strands and an explosion of the knot being punched through. I just wonder
if he was actually telling the truth.
He had to have been telling the truth. What would the point be of him lying?
Well, just
because he was well, yeah, but what would Lan? How would he have known what Lan wanted to hear? How would he have known that
how about
Moraine was shielded?
How does he even see it if he has no power?
Well, because his talent is no longer seeing Taviran, it's seeing men's weaves. And it's already been explained that talents are no longer tied to like the one power. Like having the ability to channel doesn't mean losing your ability to channel doesn't mean you lose your talent. So he can still see men's weaves. He might even be able to see women's weaves too. It just has never really been expounded on. But one would assume that he could because of his reaction to Nynaeve's channeling in season 1. But anyway, so
how does Swan know Rand was channeling for her to cut him off?
That's a question I always had in the books too. I don't know. That's a how can you tell? How does a woman know a man's channeling?
Yeah. There's a couple things that our non-book readers have pointed out to us. One of them is that we're not really sure if we can see weaves or not in the real world, if what we're seeing, if everyone sees. Another is geography. They have no idea how far Falm is from where they're at. Excuse me. They have no idea how far Falm is. They're like, is it like a 1 day walk? Is it a week? Is it a month? Certain things like this, we kind of take for granted, I think. And I haven't really shown them the map because I'm like, well, the show will show what it wants to show. I shouldn't like necessarily have to do background stuff. But I think the show has also had a map that you can access. So I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with that. But anyway.
I think it would make a lot of sense if we had something like a map brought down, and then an out, just so people could get a scope of how big the world is. Because you're right. And that's something like you said, as book readers, we take that for granted. But like they're in the ways. The only thing that references we don't even know unless you go and you dig and you go to the extra features on Amazon's website for the Wheel of Time stuff. You're not going to know. Like you don't know that the ways takes you thousands of miles in a day. So that's a great, very valid criticism that they really should do something to show to highlight the geography of the world for people.
Yeah, I thought the Game of Thrones opening was always super helpful to know where we're going to be at in the episode and where it is physically. That is true. Richard DJ. They do refer to Falm in the far west.
Yeah, but how far is far west?
Right.
Based on the climate of Falm, I'd say it's somewhere along the equator or in Miami.
I think it's in Morocco, right?
Yes, they filmed it in Morocco.
All right, so Brother Dan, this is a great point. When he starts talking about 1,000 weaves, we do see the strands when he cuts it. It unfolds around him briefly and dissolves.
Yeah, it's just an odd way to phrase it, I guess.
Uh-huh.
I guess technically, there are 1,000 weaves tight around her, but I don't know. What we saw was kind of just a little ball of knot. Yeah. I mean, when he described it, I expected to see like there was gonna be invisible shit all around her, like a shield. Like,
all right. Aside from just the whole, here we go. Like, really, Rand is curing Moraine's. You still like. Aside from that, like how just off the rails that is. I thought that was a powerful scene. And I thought that how she portrayed it was just breathtaking.
I don't think it was I called it in the end of season 1 that Rand was going to unshield her. He was going to be the one to do it because he's the only man in the channels that we know of that we have access to. And there was a lot of talk like it's going to be Siuan because of the knots that we saw, the Fisher knots when she was a child and Tyr. And I mean, the thing that doesn't make sense to me about that is how Lan accessed that ancient knowledge from the Age of Legends. And why wasn't like an Aes Sedai bringing that to Moraine's attention? Why is it Lan who's done that discovery, that detective work to disseminate between a tied off shield and being stilled? That's my complaint from that entire scene, is that it's Lan who discovers it and not Varen or somebody else.
But yeah, and I again like just off the rails, right? Like, what's going on? Like, Lan's going in, but like, god damn it, when he said, "I'm sorry it took me so long to fulfill my duty," like, yeah, like that was a gut punch. That was a gut punch. That was like, Jesus. I mean, it's well done. I mean, all of those things are, plausible and like well acted. And yeah, again, this episode was just top 2. Last episode and this episode, they're just getting better and better. Let's acknowledge our new friend Thor.
Awesome.
Jesus. Wow, Thor, thank you so much. He says Rand wanted to get the Amerlin being good. When Rand said, "I will not live in your cage," there were 2 voices. Luz showing up. So so Luz
was there.
You see, no, several people were mentioning 2 voices.
I'll need to re-listen to it.
So I have to go back. I just heard him like getting like angry. I'm getting angry. I thought that's what was happening, but I'll have to go back and listen to it. I totally believe you guys. We have the smartest people in chat in the world.
Yeah. And
it sounds like
Thor. You're awesome.
All over the world. Thor, thank you so much. Don't be a stranger.
But stay
also,
straight.
everyone get in your questions. We have a set of questions, and this was on my list. Christopher Davis, thank you. Did Varen lie?
What do you think?
And I want to, and I'm going to add to this. And did Moraine figure her out in that moment?
No, she did not
Okay.
lie. So I did go back and listen to that one specifically.
I agree. She did not lie.
Yeah. That is an order.
So
didn't say who it was an order from, just said it was an order.
And Moraine acknowledged that by saying there was
you were very clever
creative.
in your words.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly.
So she either knew all along, and again, full spoilers. Let's put this little banner up here. She either knew all along about Varen, or she figured it out in that moment, because it's gonna. Well, I mean, I guess she did just bail and leave everything, so she might not be able to get the truth. But it seems like such a careless thing to say, because clearly all she did was run upstairs and say, "Oh, I'm at your beck and call, Amerlin," and she's like, "What the f?" Like it was one step away from getting caught, and she spilled the beans. So yeah, that's just all right. So she didn't lie.
She was very Aes Sedai.
But what did she like give away to Moraine?
I don't think she gave anything away to Moraine other than she knows that Rand's the dragon, and Moraine already knew Varen knew that Rand's the dragon. And Moraine and Varen both knew that the prophecy had to be fulfilled by Rand declaring himself over the sky in Falma, according to the show. So Varen was doing everything she could to make sure Rand got to Falma.
Yeah, I agree. Ryan, I think the question is more along the lines of what did Varen show to the Amerlin and the rest of those Aes Sedai? I mean, that's obviously the Amerlin is going to be like, well, that was clearly untrue, and he's now gone, and she's now gone.
Right.
So whether it means that she's dark or not, it certainly means that she did not follow the Amerlin's instructions and undermined what she said and helped the dragon get away. Right, Smack?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You know, what she gave up was an opportunity to go back to the tower. You know, she has to kind of go away now. It doesn't matter if she lied or not. They're going to believe she is, and they're going to label her, you know, as dark. So she's basically now going to be on the run or back in her retirement home.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
I mean, which really makes sense because, again, it's setting up Alanna and Varen to have this partnership because they're both willing to work with Moiraine to make sure that Rand fulfills the prophecies. And I think that's the thing that's what I think went off the rails was when Siuan told Moiraine that she was going to have him declare himself the dragon in Cairhien when the prophecies, and they both acknowledged that the prophecy said he would do it in Falm. That's what didn't make sense to me. Like, why all of a sudden was... I understand Siuan going in and saying, okay, Moiraine, you had your chance. You kind of really royally screwed it up. So I'm taking control now. I'm going to run things. I'm the Amerlin. And
then make the worst choice ever. Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing.
Followed up with that. Yeah.
That's
so,
the thing that doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. Now, do you buy the theory that okay, so two things are coming to mind. She's been kind of just mysteriously absent. And they just reference that, oh, you know, the Amerlin's away. The Amerlin's away. And then she pops up in Camelin. Is there potential... Cairhien, is there a potential for her to have been compulsed by Lanfear or Ishamael to explain her poor decision making and her change of character? And would that kind of help explain, like, you know, could we get a flashback in episode 8 of her like encountering them on the road a long time ago or something?
I think she was on her way to Cairhien for a royal wedding between Barthanes and Queen Galdrian, and she was already on her way to Cairhien. That's why I think she had a full entourage in tow with her. She was fulfilling in an official capacity of being the Amerlin seat.
She arrived with the 14, though, correct?
Yeah, so they were already all together traveling to Cairhien from Tar Valon. That's
why would she need 14 to go to a wedding?
Because it's a procession. It's an official capacity. It's like she's like the head of state, and that's her coterie. That's her entourage.
No, I know, but I mean, but Landry did say
she's like, girl.
No. I mean, yeah, no, she might be flexing, but yeah, but Lanfear. I mean, like, Leandrin did say like, oh, the last time this happened, something really major happened. Like we put someone on the throne.
Queen was getting married.
No, well, yeah.
I mean, a queen was getting married, so it's kind of a big deal. I mean, I think that's why they were all going there.
Okay.
It was for a royal wedding.
All right, real quick, we do have a poll going on, and it's the Did Varen Lie poll. I'm sure you've already answered this like 5 other live streams, but hey, help us out. It's fun.
But,
get 20 votes already.
To Ryan's point, though, the Amerlin was gone, and Lyanna was at the White Tower. She's like, I'll let her know when she gets back. I speak for the Amerlin when she's not here. Tap, type. Or not typing. Right. She was writing. So to Ryan's point, the Amerlin has been kind of bouncing around a bit.
Agree. Another unanswered question, an inconsistency. That doesn't.
Is she a dark friend this year? No.
No.
Okay.
And I'm gonna throw some weird, crazy, probably not true, but potential. Was this all worked out ahead of time? Was Siuan only doing what she had to, and the whole escape was already planned, and she was going to go anyways? Because it did look like there could have been, she could only move one thing, but she moved her eyebrows while looking at Siuan. Was this a knowing glance? Did the person who's been known to see and plot things 10 steps out in advance kind of see this coming. Like, it's hard to say that you saw a Forsaken, but also Rand kind of said that. And if they did set up a communication in the water bond, would it be so crazy to think there's some kind of stuff like that in the Oath Rod? I don't know. Probably not, but she's been one that's been the master of the strategy, who has plots and things way out ahead of time. I'm not saying it, but it's a possibility. So.
Moiraine did seem horrified that she was compelled to close the gateway beyond her power. Like, she had no autonomy there, and she seemed like it was an absolute violation.
Mm-hmm. I think it irrevocably ruined their relationship. I think it was what is going to be they're never going to be able to come back from it. It's like a break of trust, a breach of trust.
Besides harsh
Dan, you sound like a robot to me.
All right, let's wait until he comes back. Let's look at Lee Science says that Ishamael was in her dreams. I'm talking about the swan, so maybe that affected her thoughts. Okay. Yeah, I mean, what it her stunning decision to say, okay, 3,000 years of Tower Law, we're gonna finally start following it. That seemed like so grossly out of character.
Very much so.
I guess I'm pulling on strands. When I heard the theory that she was compulsed, that did it for me. I was like, okay, well, I can go with that because nothing else made sense besides like poor writing.
I don't think she's compulsed because Lanfear said a broken Amerlin is better than a dead one when she went through the Waygate with them. So I don't think she was compulsed. I think she felt like her back was up against a wall because she's the Amerlin. Everybody now knows that Moiraine has been doing some really messed up crap. And in order to save her position, she went ahead to try to save the situation the best she could as she saw it unraveling around her. That's the way I see it. Rand has wreaked havoc. He started fires. She knows he's there. Moiraine basically has him off. He's off the rails. He's not under Moraine's control. Moiraine has no power over him. So Siuan's like, okay, well, this is a man who can channel, and he's going to be like, the world is going to be in a lot of hurt if we just let him do his own thing. So I'm going to do what the Tower has said the Amerlin should do for 3,000 years. And I think that's when she made the decision to do that.
I don't think that she made a poor decision based on what she had to go on. She showed up. It seemed that Moiraine was hiding the fact, or wasn't at least advertising the fact, that she was can no longer touch the one power. She shows up and she's like, you still have this pit bull off of a leash. You haven't, he is still as vulnerable to the Forsaken as he's always been. And this was our one goal, was to make it so that they couldn't get to him. Right. And you have done really poorly at this. And now you can't even channel. No. Let's forget hubris. Let's forget our pride. Let's just go by the manual. The manual says we got to lock him up. Let's just do that shit. Why are we smarter than the book?
Well, okay. Yeah, I guess that could explain her motivations, but then she turns around and says, yeah, we're going to announce him, and going against the prophecies, which she damn well knows what the prophecies are. How do you explain that?
Yeah.
She's
bad.
Again, back against the wall, making an emotional decision because she's emotional about Moiraine. And, trying to save face, trying to save her seat, trying to save her position. She knows the Tower, the people who want her out of that seat. Like, they just need to find one reason to put her on trial and remove her as Amerlin. So she's like, I cannot lose control of the situation. So I'm going to do whatever I have to to secure my position as the Merlin. And I think that's pretty, it's like a whole bunch of stuff come together to make a very rash decision that ultimately ended up backfiring on her in the end. That's what's going to set up her being deposed next season. That entire thing in Cairhien that happened is going to be what leads to her no longer being the Merlin.
What a horrifying sight that must be. It's just seeing Rand walk through the Wake Gate with Lanfear leading. Oh my gosh! Like if you're Siuan, that's got to be just the worst image you could possibly have.
Yeah, and your lover, undercover lover of 20 plus years.
If you want to be undercover lover.
No, that was crazy.
Very
crazy.
All,
is she stilled?
No.
When she says a broken armlet, is that because she cannot channel anymore?
No. Her people are going to come and find her on the ground, having lost to the Dragon Reborn. Like,
yeah, I mean, I can see that. Maybe, yeah.
That's broken. Like, she's going to be humiliated, and she's going to be, held accountable for everything that just went wrong in Cairhien. And I don't think she's stilled. I don't think she's lost her power.
Well, in the book,
actually, real quick.
Oh, thank you.
Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. So,
Crychard
DJ Siuan using the Oath Rod to force Moiraine to close the gates was so parallel to Egwene that the pillow friends may need new pillows. That's cray.
I like that.
That's a good point, though.
Yeah. Well, we have in the book, Siuan does get.
She's like, "Don't do it! Don't do it!"
So this would be an easy way for her to be like, "Oh no, I'm stilled. It can't happen." However, if Siuan gets stilled, the way it is now, it seems. I don't think it would have the same impact if she gets healed again, because we're seeing healing stuff all over the place right now. Like, I don't. In the books, it was more impactful. There's a definite difference between shielding and stilling. I'm not sure if the show has really shown that so much. And so, if Siuan does get stilled, I wonder if it's gonna be like, oh well, she'll just have Rand just cut that knot. We're cool.
Actually, yeah. Check out this point. Aaron Rose says Siuan agreed to move Logain to Cairhien, but did nothing to follow up on Rand's progress to learn from him. That's a good point. This is another really interesting point. I heard someone suggest that part of why she forced her was to see whether the Oath Rod still bound her, because she said, "You lied to me." So she was just. That's like she was just checking her DMs and seeing if she's cheating on her or something like that. So, is it just based out of insecurity of their love? Huh. What were you gonna say, Smack?
Well, I was gonna bounce back, like way back, and say that, like when Beth said, why didn't the Aes Sedai try to find it? I feel like that goes back to they're so caught up in the 3-0s when they don't know what they do. If Moiraine says something, well, she can't lie, so it's fact, so why bother with it? They do that in the books all the time. Well, she can't lie, so it's got to be true. That's how the Black Lodge get around so much all the time, is because they can lie, and everybody just says, oh, well, I said I can't lie. So both things fine. And then at that scene at the Waygate, what if the real betrayal that she felt was seeing Moiraine channel and saying, you said you could channel. She was very obviously like, you said you were still, you said it was, lie.
All that stuff is magically almost impossible, right, Smack? Right. The fact that the weave was tied off, everyone's like, you can't do that. That doesn't happen. And so, it makes sense that it's like she suddenly has her powers back. You can't come back from being stilled. They didn't know she was just shielded. So, she's a big fat liar. And she's walking into the thing with Lanfear. She's a big fat dark liar.
So, I mean, at that point,
can't. Yeah.
Swan could have altered a plan that was already in place to get him out of there. Because I do feel like she has to know better than to say, hey, here's the dragon. Our best chance is to keep him in check and only bring him out whenever we need him, and that's going to be enough to save the world. I don't believe that show Swan would do that any more than the book Swan would have done that. You know, that's just not going to work, and we all know that. You can't just say, okay, you're going to have no training. We're going to keep you here, and we're just going to watch you and make sure you don't do anything bad. Now go out there and save the world. Like, that's not how that works.
Oh.
And the way she said it was evil. She's like, you are to be our weapon for us to use. I was like, ooh, Swan, why are you being like that? Come on, girl. Don't be like that. I wonder what's up with her as well. It seemed completely out of character. I don't know if she's compelled of some sort. I don't know if she is a bad person in this show. There's lots of things I'm not really sure about. I don't know about Varen and Tomas. Tomas was like, go with the light. This sort of thing is messing with my head. I'm like, Tomas is supposed to be a bad guy, but if he's wishing the light, I don't know.
But he's
really ironic.
Not a bad guy, like
no more than
other. I mean, yeah, he's if they're gonna follow book canon for Varen's story arc, he's a bad guy, but he's not nefarious, right? Like, he took the oaths, but he's working with Varen to be a ferret to discover who all the members of Blackaj are. So, he can't necessarily get out of his oath, but he could really wish someone to walk in the light. You know what I mean? Like, double agent, so to speak.
Yeah. It's not like the oath says you can't say the word light. He just feel like walk in the.
I mean, and he could say it and mean it too.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
very
He's
well.
Like, don't follow my path.
And I just rewatched the scene between Siuan and Moiraine in front of the Waygate. And she said, "You lied to me about being stilled." And Moiraine said, "No, I did not. I cannot." Because she thought she was stilled. So she thought she was telling the truth. And so in the essence of the 3 O's, if you believe what you're saying is the truth, you're not lying. So she, and then she disobeyed Siuan when Siuan was like, don't make me force you to close it. And that's when it, Moiraine she was compelled because you made an oath, an unbreakable oath, and Siuan made Moiraine realize how true that statement was, that it was an unbreakable oath, and that's why the Waygate got closed. But
We got some questions. I like this question from Jan Slot.
13th repository. That's my answer.
How come I always think of... Okay, so my thought is that she was basically channeled, and Maria was channeling, and she sensed the channeling and went towards that.
Possibly.
I'm sticking towards mine. This was a plan that got off the rails whenever she thought Moiraine lied to her. Felt betrayed and immediately kind of switched it up.
Moiraine didn't even know that there was a Waygate there.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
It was.
That we know of.
Well, no, because she said to Varen, when Varen gave her the map of Cairhien, that's when she had gone into the library. And so I do, but I think Siuan knew about them because of the 13th repository.
Yeah.
Okay, so now Karis Sedai says, how will the aftermath of this affect her actions after she is deposed? I mean, how is she going to redeem herself? Like, she let the Dragon Reborn get away. I mean, she doesn't have to admit to anything, but also she can't lie, so they're probably going to question her.
Yeah, is
It's not
this
gonna be
what's going
good.
to lead to her being deposed? Do you think, guys?
Yeah, that's what Beth was saying. What do you think, Smack?
I think it's very well what's going to end up being. This is going to be what starts the process of taking her down. It's like she had the dragon reborn. She was ready to proclaim him and do as Tower Law said, and then she chose to go alone. Got overpowered and lost the dragon reborn. So this will be where they start to take her down.
Agree.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, all those people were on fire, and all she did was, she's all, link with me so I can make it rain.
But she had a big group of sisters. She could have said, all right, you guys go here, you guys come with me.
Yeah, you heal. You heal people. There's some hurt people down there.
So Aaron's asking, how did Swan attack Lan if she can't use the wind power against his weapon?
You can
Because
attack anybody.
Lan started going for her, so it was in her self-defense. She was self-defending herself. She was defending herself, not self-defending herself.
But I mean, you can do, the 3 O's as they are. It's not to take life. You can still wrap anybody up in air. You can still give them a bounce back.
Yeah, that's true
they're
too.
Be okay. It doesn't matter. You can do that to a guy that cuts you off in line. Just boop, out of the way.
I mean, that's what 90 and back before we knew Leandrin was Block Aja, right? That very much was shown in their power struggle. And we see it several times in the books too, where people use the one power to or to like detain or,
Yeah.
Well, let's jump to Matt, if you guys don't mind. Matt and the
wait.
hasty.
Let me change the music for Matt. All right, yeah, Matt. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Matt staring into the abyss, and the abyss is waving at him. It's like, come on.
I don't love this entire thing with Matt.
This
I
is
did not
Flicker,
care for
right?
it. No,
That's on
it's
bad
not
trip.
Flicker.
See, okay,
Just a bad
that
trip.
was my question. You think it's well? I mean, they specifically talk about saying all of your lives, right? So,
Well, he says specifically past lives. In the
Past
Flicker
lives.
verse, Flicker is possible lives. Like,
which was weird. Then all of a sudden, why is he seeing his current life parents and
I don't know. It
why
didn't
is he
make
getting
any sense to me.
Oedipal with her the whole time? Yeah, none of that made sense to me either. I liked visually it was cool. But yeah, and then for him to come out and be like, see, you just keep living it over and over and over again. And that's
how
not
can I
nearly
help?
what it portrayed. Yeah, you should see Matt, in a big city being a lawyer. You should see Matt, doing different things. It should have been
Skydiving.
more to even get at the concept they're trying to get at, just to see him getting weird with his mom and drowning people. And I guess his siblings, were that him killing his younger siblings in the mirrors?
No, I don't know.
I honestly,
Yeah.
It was
You're
weird, but
so not into it. Okay.
But Matt seemed a fervent follower by the end of the escapade for him. He's Ishamael's stroking his face. Then Matt's like, yes, show me how to be a dark friend. I want to be a dark friend so badly. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like he was all down. He was like, yeah, Ishi, I am 100%. Let's go break this wheel.
I think it was intended to be a flicker, but I didn't like it at all. It did
Yeah,
just
I
feel
think that's I think we got our flicker. That was it.
Did
Unfortunately,
we get Matt hanging?
we did.
Yeah.
Or is he going to hang later?
when I first saw it and I did my reaction video, I thought it was an attempt to substitute the Twisted Stone doorway because I'm not convinced that we're going to get the Ihvon and the Ilfin, and
Yeah, I don't
something
think
like
so.
this, and opening up Matt's mind to past lives, past people's lives, whatever, would kind of get rid of the need to have the Tirangrial. But I don't know how well in hindsight that's sitting with me. Because, you know, Matt's memories are filled with other people's memories, not his past life memories. So I'm not sure, you know, what the direction with the that is going to be in the show. I just know that it did not sit with me well. That was probably one of the low points for me for this episode.
Yeah.
Even though it was zany and Donal was amazing in it, I just didn't like the scene in general, if that makes sense. But he's killing it as Matt. He's an amazing Matt.
She thinks we're getting the Finns in season 3.
I hope we do. I really hope we do.
Is this a murder thing or a sex thing? Because either way, shut up.
That was a great line.
So we have everything culminating in Falm. Everyone's pretty much traveling there. We have let me see. We have I think we are going to have similar to the books where the Soldan takes them to the kennels and they get Egwene that way.
Well,
right?
yeah, because they captured the Sul'dam at the end of the episode.
So that's probably going to stay true to the books, I think. And I hope Egwene still blows up Rena.
I love. Oh, did you guys catch what Egwene was doing?
Oh,
She was rebraiding her hair in her two rivers
Power
braid.
Yep.
She was like, and she was totally remembering when Nynaeve said to her, you know, you're never alone. We are always with you. And she was just like, and she just said, Rena, I will kill you. I was like, that's my girl. That's my queen. You go. Not broken. But she did have a bed this week. You did see that. She did. She did have furnishings in that cell.
Rena just wants a BFF. You know what, guys? Rena just wants a BFF that she can leash.
Did you see Megan was at the trial?
Yes.
I totally missed that the first time I watched it.
Yes, Megan was there, and I honestly think Megan is going to be saved. She's going to escape. And so there's some theory crafting going on in some discussions that I've seen that Siuan actually gets killed when the siege of the tower happens. Because really, her whole purpose is being the eyes and ears of Saladar, and then a counselor to Egwene after Egwene becomes the Amarlin. So the thought process is Megan's a sitter of the blue. Megan's going to know pretty much as much blue stuff as Siuan does. So if Megan gets rescued and goes back to the tower, and then there's a break in the tower, so then she has to flee the tower, Megan can attest for Egwene's strength to become the Saladar Amarlin. It doesn't need to be Siuan, because Megan's now going to have this history with her. Because I don't think we're going to see Rima again. I think Rima becomes Puri, and that's going to happen. But I do think Megan's going to be saved in this, and then she's going to become the advocate. So I wouldn't be surprised if Siuan.
Yeah. Her arc pretty much kind of could end in a death right now, and things would progress finally, I think.
Yep.
I mean, except for Gareth. Who's Gareth Bryan gonna fall in love with, though? Guys, Gareth Bryan.
I mean, that could really anybody know.
Just kidding.
Or nobody.
Yeah, if there's even a Gareth Bryan or Bryan.
Hey, everyone's favorite love story in the books. The Gareth Bryan.
Although I do want to see this Leanne become all Domani and sexy, because this Leanne is ferocious and very rigid and hard. I want to see her become all slinky and sexy.
Yeah.
I don't know, that'd be cool.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect.
Are we Smack? We getting the horn next week?
For sure.
For sure.
Absolutely. That's a guarantee.
Okay.
So-
You heard it here, folks.
Well,
Guaranteed.
okay. Aramescu is in the cast list for next episode. So
See.
sorry if I run that for anybody. But it's happening.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't even know characters' names or actors' names.
Can we talk about the IO?
Please.
Oh yeah. How they just jump you into their gang.
How Bane and Chiad helped Avienda fulfill her toe. That was the perfect on-screen representation of what Giotto is, in my opinion. I thought it was reminiscent of when Egwene was leaving for Saladar, and she admits that she had lied to them, that she had only ever been accepted, and she took her punishment, and they didn't stop until she said she was done. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic.
I loved it. I thought it was good, and to be able to watch like Perrin and Hopper's confusion at the whole thing, and they're like, "Whoa."
Yep.
Right. And parents like, and now we're all cool again? We're just going to forget that ass kicking?
Weird, crazy theory I have, though. Or not theory, but question. Okay, they've obviously made it known we're merging books 2 and 3. Do we see the stone in episode 3? Or in this last episode?
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see it like near the end, like as an epilogue kind of thing.
So are we cutting out Calendar completely?
Calendar is going to be in Ruidian in the glass columns. Rand's going to come out of the glass columns holding Calendar. That's my take.
Very
I like it. I
definitive.
heard that. Awesome.
Interesting.
Just to me, that could be our introduction to traveling if they start a battle, because the battle in book 3 is the first time we really see traveling used in abundance. He jumps from here to there, like he follows him in and out of the dream world, all over the place. After
Yeah.
Law, who is the funniest, weakest, saddest Forsaken in the books, at least to me.
Okay.
Totally forgot everybody else, and got hit in the back because nobody else can touch me. It's like,
Yeah. Run away, and he's like good at running. You got to give him credit. He does give a good chase scene.
We saw a couple sword forms. Assumedly, one where Rand takes off his sword thing and lands like, "Oh, bird with one wing" or something. But then he's like, "Hey, do cat crosses the courtyard." And then I was watching, and it just looked like Rand was just walking. He wasn't doing cat crosses no courtyard.
what he
Yeah, that's a
described
little
to me
disappointing.
kind of sounded like what a marionette would like bouncing with everything loose except for. That's kind of what I was.
Yeah, just be like rolling down the street, smoking Indo, sipping on
Sipping on gin and
juice,
juice.
lay back.
With my mind on my money and my money on my mind.
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
Bunch of
that
nerds
was
rapping.
that was the weakest cat crossing the courtyard I've ever seen.
I was like, "Come on, man! I want to see a strut."
I mean, really, in all fairness, that's probably the only cat crossing the courtyard you've ever seen.
Dan does a good one.
Yeah, I do a pretty good one.
All right, here's my other complaint.
If you complain about Natasha O'Keefe as Lanfear, we cannot be friends.
This outfit is too Marvel. It's too superhero. Don't like it. I've loved every outfit. This one, nope, don't like it. She's walking around doing her power. Yeah,
I loved it.
I'm looking at yeah.
Oh my god. If I was into girls, I'd be so into Natasha O'Keefe as Lanfear. Oh my god. Oh my god. She's perfect.
She's got it all.
She's perfect.
Her
She really
entrance into Cairhien was brash. She set fire to everything.
It was very Lanfear.
Yeah, this was something that Forsaken generally don't do. This type of just brazen, hey, I'm the magical person that you can't kill. Pew, pew, fire, 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 fire. But I kind of liked it. I mean, I liked just seeing how powerful she was.
They needed to destroy the Foregate somehow.
Yeah. Yeah. Without having, we don't have any illuminators. I guess that didn't matter. Huh.
And I feel like she finally showed like what a Forsaken is. It's like, you know,
her power ability compared to the Aes Sedai of today.
Her power and just disregard for anybody else. Just, you know, if I have a job to do, well, do it.
I wish she did more. Yeah,
cause chaos.
Yeah, I wish she did more than just fire though. At that point, I was like, come on, like let's like show off, right? Like pop some heads. Just like throw some buildings around. Like, come on.
She threw bodies around with fire. Those poor people trying to get in through the closed drawbridge, and she was like, "Oh, after 3,000 years," and it was like a pittance to her. It was like she was so nonchalant about it. She's just like,
yeah, and bodies were landing like towards her, like at her feet and stuff. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
I did appreciate that I had to count. Since I had to count them all, I appreciated that she took time to monologue to help me stop and count. But
oh yeah. Part of the fantasy. If you get kills, you get some points, and whoever had Lanfear just raked it in today.
Yeah, Lanfear was the high score.
That was the mass kill event I was talking about. Like I wanted to get her. All right, anyways,
she was the Michael Jordan of killing.
It was cool just to see, like I said, you know.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
gone in and tried to take out, just rescue Rand and try to take out a couple Aes Sedai guards at the same time, and then dip out real quick. Yeah, but it's easier to just pick on all these little people off to the side, create a bunch of chaos, and then make them leave.
Right.
She's not gonna make her life hard. It doesn't matter that she's gonna cost a bunch of average everyday people their lives. This is easier for me. This is what I'll do. So.
Right, and then the Aes Sedai had to waste time making it rain.
Right.
They're like, oh, we got to put these people out.
So yeah, Lanfear and Varen were both trending on Twitter yesterday, I noticed. And Lanfear was trending last week after the episode. People are in love with Lanfear. How could you not be? She's got the boots. She's got the wildly varying hair lengths.
Got the smoky eye mascara.
Yeah, Daylou, I did notice this. She just kind of flicked her wrist and opened the way gate, whereas like Maureen has to do and like hocus pocus.
Oh,
what did she have to do?
To that point.
And Lanfear just salt bays it.
She's waving her hands in a magical manner. Chanting.
I love that. You see how they do it differently. Each person does it differently. How it went so much quicker for Lanfear, but also like in Egwene's test, she moved nothing. I mean, I feel like she took over and made the biggest blast. But you saw earlier in earlier episodes, she was trying to do it without using her hands, because that was she didn't come here for easy. She wanted to be the most and they say you don't have to use your hands, but it makes the training easier. I think she wants to be the strongest that she can be. And also that calls back to season 1 when Valda said, they told me you don't have to use your hands to channel, but I would have had your hands anyway if you would have had a ring.
Ah, yes.
That's where that whole thing started.
And then she did her little flicker poof, a little
flicker poof,
her little baby Dragon Ball poof. Haven't been. Speaking of that, man, I want more Valda. We got one scene with him. And it was, he was great. Where is that bad boy?
And I feel like Valda, like when he's on screen, like the dude is electric. I love his. I hate him, and I'm supposed to, and it makes me feel exactly like somebody get that man.
Yeah.
I do think he'll be in this next one, and I'm anxious to see what's going to happen. I'm excited. I think he'll be in the next one.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait. So they promised us one of the biggest battles ever to be put on film or television. Who's all going to be in this battle? What forces are we going to be seeing fighting? Will we see wolves? Like, what do you think is going to make this so big? Is the horn going to happen? Are we going to get ghost warriors? What do you think? What do you guys think is going to happen?
I've mentioned we know some heroes are going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
We know that the Aiel are here. Are they there? Probably. I mean, they're everywhere.
Well,
they're behind
at least we know of we know of one team of 4, and one of them dies, so there's 3.
So,
you take one down, you pass it around. Only 3 Aiel left.
One team of 3.
So, and then the Seanchan are there. Do we have Trollocs? We have White Cloaks, obviously. White Cloaks will be there, I'm sure. So
we won't even need Trollocs, I don't think.
It's big enough. There might not be Trollocs there. I'm curious.
Yeah.
To see what happens, but I think there will be. Actually, I feel like that interaction between Dane and Perrin was on purpose. They set them up to have that interaction before he becomes an obsession. So he can also kick himself in the beginning and saying, "I had him right in the grasp of my hands, and I chose to let him go." So.
Oh, but also vice versa.
Go on.
Oh, you mean are you talking about Perrin? Perrin chose to let him go, or Dane chose to
No,
let him
Dane. I'm saying from Dane's perspective,
yeah.
It's so ugly.
So,
it's like,
Dane had him.
Like,
But then he didn't have him. Yeah, no. How do you think it's going to play out? Him saving him from just getting curb stomped.
I'm sorry. So what?
Like, is he get? How do you think that's going to play out? Like, he saved. Perrin saved Dane from getting curb stomped.
I don't think it's going to matter one bit, because I think that his dad's gonna be in this battle. His dad's gonna die, and that's all that's gonna consume him. Mm-hmm. It's like, I should have killed him when I had the chance.
Dane, the Nepo baby of Randland.
Jenny is crafting. I love that name. Rand versus Turlock, Dead Bornholt, and the White Cloaks will be there. Do you think there's going to be a duel between Turlock and Rand?
Turlock?
Turlock? Turlock. I like
Turlock.
Turlock
Dinosaur
better.
Hunter. No, I mean, we see him getting into the fighting formation, whatever that thing is.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they could edit that. Who is he like really like posing? Up against. Like, it could be anyone.
It
could be anyone.
In the case I think it's going to be Land Buns.
Oh, it would be great if it would be Land, but I think it's Rand, because he's standing in front of Turok in one of the previous scenes.
I know, but like that would so I mean, I'm just gonna say it right now, I'll be so pissed if all of a sudden he's a master swordman just from talking to a madman in an insane asylum, and we never see him training once, and he just is all of a sudden beating a blade master. No, I'll be pissed. And here's my thought: he just fucking blew up a Murdral. He can like easily be like, God, fucking. He just did that 2 episodes ago. Like, why would he even feel like he needs to pull that sword out, like, against a sword man? He can just pop him. Just pop and roast him.
He could say it's because, the dude tried magic and just got dominated. So maybe go back to trying the sword.
The only one we've seen training so far is Nynaeve.
Well,
and Egwene.
No.
Oh, Egwene, yeah. She went to the training ground.
Oh,
Well, I mean, she's
yeah.
being trained now as well. Like,
Elaine got some stick fighting in there. So
we had some cry training from Lan. Right?
Lan's voice is, I can only describe it as urgent whisper.
He took a lot from Batman.
Ryan, we're going to Burger King. What do you want?
Nuggets, extra fries,
Nuggets. Okay.
no ice.
You want nuggets? I'll get you nuggets.
All right, so yeah, so get these predictions in. Is Matt going to blow the horn? We think
Yes.
Jenny is crafting. Thinks it'll happen. Do you think it'll happen in episode 8?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, it's gotta. Yeah, and I think that's going to be the big battle. It's going to be a battle of Falma between the Seanchan and the Heroes of the Horn / the Wolves / everyone else.
and don't forget the White Cloaks. They're going to be there too.
White Cloaks. Yeah, so the White Cloaks, I think, would be fighting against the Seanchan as well.
Yes.
But if they see the Wolves, everyone thinks the Wolves are part of the Dark people. So if it's like, oh, okay, this must be the Devil's work if the Wolves are helping.
All right.
Is it just going to be the 3 Aiel? Just those 3?
I don't think so. I think we're going
See,
to
that's the
larger
question.
party.
Yeah. Good. I want to know, are we going to see it just like thousands of Aiel
Not thousands.
storming in?
Not thousands. So if they're combining books 2 and 3, there were 300 Aiel that stormed the Stone of Tyr. So maybe a couple hundred Aiel. But I would love it if we met Ruark at the end of season 2. I would love it if Ruark
I
was
want to see Ruark, yeah.
introduced to us.
Gaul? Or is he gone?
I think we met Gaul season 1.
He was in a cage.
Yeah. Oh, he did a great job.
He was, we all do our part, right? No weeds.
I mean,
All right.
obviously it can't be Gaul. She's got her own storyline. So what happens then? That's my question.
Here's an even bigger question. How does Min play into all of this? Min's still in Cairhien.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
All right, chat. Let's talk Min.
Yeah.
Is Rand and Min gonna hook up?
I think so.
Who's Rand gonna hook up with first?
That's a good question.
I mean,
met-
that's a trick question because he's already hooked up with Egwene. So
Yeah,
between
yeah.
Elaine.
Yeah, of
Between
the
Elaine
of the
and
triumvirate. Yeah.
I do think I saw something where Elaine was holding Rand and he was saying, "Who are you?"
Oh.
I don't know though. I mean,
That's a
That's
meme
really
that's
funny.
going around on Twitter right now, I think.
This one. That's really funny.
That's a good one. Yeah, no, that scene had about 200 Aiel. You just didn't see them. They were all hiding behind plants.
right?
Avi first out of the Dragon Riders. Wrong series, Matt. Dagger. Wrong series. Dragon Riders of Pern is amazing, but it's not the Wheel of Time.
That's a good one.
The Dragon Riders of Rand.
Jason saying that the first one's gonna be Lanfear. The Lanfear, she's the latest one. He was boning her as Celine, right? They were boning.
So okay, so we're gonna have like some like Lanfear, Moraine, Rand. In a
That's
way,
gonna be awkward. That's gonna be awkward.
just like, yeah, like camping out, like walking together, like who's gonna take front, who's gonna take back, who's gonna walk with who talks to who's got snacks. It's all confusing to me.
Yeah, who brought the snacks, right? Right?
And is the Black Wind like even a thing? Like, is it just like, or did Nynaeve just take care of it? And like, we're all
That's a
good now?
good question too.
Yeah. It's
Is
just
the
like,
what? I'm sorry. Ask the first part of that again.
The Black Wind, Mash and Shin.
Oh, Mash and Shin isn't even a thing. That's a good question. Honestly.
Nynaeve could have just destroyed it.
Weird
What's that spec?
me theory that, Seanchan was just every soul that passed in the ways got trapped in the ways and went mad and joined it up together. So even if you take out parts of it, you're only taking out individual pieces of a collective mind. So it's not like you can take out the whole thing at once.
Oh, I like that.
Weird me theory, but that's kind of the way that I've always seen it. It's individual voices from individual people that have passed, with their souls being trapped in the ways.
Due
to the magic.
Okay. I like that. Especially in the book when it's like when it gets more graphic in the whispers that it says.
Yeah.
Flesh to eat, eat so sweet.
Ooh, okay, this is interesting. Okay, so I love the theories. The light-blinded fool. I think Lanfear will gateway Rand out of the ways or leave at a gateway and close it before Moraine and Lan get out, possibly calling in Seanchan. Lanfear doesn't realize Moraine can open it. She's all right. Yeah, so it was closed. She can sense power though, right? Can't they just do that to each other? Just stand next to each other and be like, "Damn, girl, you're stacking." Do you even channel, bro? Huh?
Do you even channel, bro? What's your max?
Stacker stuff. All right.
I do think. I don't know, because like they said, Moraine didn't know, only suspected that Nynaeve could channel, even though she was this vastly powerful channeler. Where it's been the way they've changed the mechanics in the show, it's tough to say if she knows. If she did know, I mean, it's pretty obvious she knew that Shamael shielded her. That was pretty clear. So
yeah. Huh. All right.
So I thought it was really instructive that, like, how did, again, off the rails, how did Lan know this stuff? Don't question. I'm not questioning. Some may question. I don't question. Lan says, "No, Rand, look with the power." And all of a sudden, Rand starts channeling, and boing,
detective work.
And he can see, right? No, but like
I'm the world.
So I guess you have to be actively channeling and somehow look with the power to see another man's weaves. That's interesting. Because we've been talking on the show, like, who's seeing what? It's very unclear. Like, this Swan must not have seen Rand's weaves. She just
use your power eyes.
He just like, "How dare you raise your voice at me?" Slap him around with a right, like, cut his source I mean, like, yeah, it's crazy. There's so many questions. Ooh, wait, what has happened? Sarah said what? What did Sarah say? Oh, okay. In show, power can be sensed only if embracing the source. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. Okay, so in the show. All right.
Yeah, it changed the mechanics a little bit. So, but it still hasn't said, like, well, it kind of just insinuated that, there's still men being able to see male weaves and women not being able to see it.
Yeah.
But it does also beg the question, like, how did Swan know Rand was channeling to shield him off in that initial thing?
Well, yeah, some people said she heard the double voices, and she's like, "Fuck you, demon voice guy." Or
in the first one, in their first meeting, didn't she tell him to channel? I can't remember.
That's I like that. She did throw it like a fishnet. I didn't realize. Shit, that's cool. Funny. All right. No, okay, yeah, Dalen, we talked about that. Beth reminded everyone that that's a talent he has now. He could see male weaves. That's kind of the workaround I'm thinking they're going with. I really wished we saw, and maybe I'm just weird and I shouldn't admit this publicly, but I really wished we saw Egwene getting binkied. I think that of all the training, like, right?
You earned your ring, kid.
Yeah, she's just like crying on the ground, and she just comes in here. "Here you go." Boop, right? Yeah.
And Egwene's like, "Oh, now I can go back to sleep."
Not okay with that.
Don't want to see it, but I would love for them to explain the function of it. Does it serve a real purpose?
It's a muzzle.
I mean, is that the only purpose of it? Or I didn't know if it was like another form of control or...
Yeah, it's a muzzle. It's another control. Keeps them from being able to say anything. It's kind of like, it reminds me from, if you guys ever watched The Handmaid's Tale, I'm sorry,
Yes.
on Hulu. And they travel from Boston down to Washington, D.C. in Gilead. You know, it's like used to be America. And there's one handmaid whose mouth was sewn shut.
Yes.
And they're like, they don't need to be able to talk to fulfill their duty, you know, like, and yeah. So, and there's a line in the books, I think, where they threaten to cut out her tongue. Like, you don't need your tongue to channel. You don't need to be able to talk to channel. So, like, yeah.
Yeah, I would just argue that, yeah, well, that's absolutely true. And I'm not saying you're absolutely right. I do feel like it does make you less effective if they can sense channeling and the Soldam cannot. They can't alert anybody unless they're going to sit there and do jumping jacks and say, "Hey, that's over that way."
No, okay.
It's just point.
Well, how about this? So, like, there's no the Adam does not prohibit them from like going, "Hey, you over there, help me out," right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think like the function is to humiliate, but also like, you know, they're like ostensibly like free. They do have free will at some points. They can't channel against the Soldam, but they can certainly, you know, try and talk someone into saving them or something.
I mean, you also have to remember that what they're encountering in Falm right now is totally different than what Seanchan culture is like. In Seanchan, girls are told from a very young age that, and they see it happen every year when they come to test all of the girls that are coming of age to see if they have the spark. So they go probably pretty willingly because it's inherent in their culture. It's ingrained into them. They are indoctrinated into this. So the Soldam and the Damane that come from Seanchan are, I don't want to use the word comfortable in their roles, but the Damane are conditioned and they don't fight back because they've never known that it's okay to fight back. So that's what's so different about the women that have been apprehended since Seanchan came to the Westlands versus a Seanchan who, you know, a woman who grew up as a Seanchan and became a Damane when she was 14, 15 years old. I think that's something else that isn't really addressed in the show. You know what I mean? At least not yet. And we might see it addressed in the future. But for now, that disparity between those two types of people, you know, people who have had free will and people who never realized they could have free will, there's a big difference in the way that they're going to act around a Soldam.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Do you think they're going to touch upon the kind of the big secret about channeling, Soldam's channeling, in this next episode? Do you think they're going to figure it out?
Oh, yeah, they are, because she has the Soldam channeled. She has the Soldam collared. It's going to be a Rena-Sita conversation.
And we know for a fact that they know that it only works on women who channel?
I don't think so, but I think they find out by accident.
Yeah, that hasn't really been fleshed out yet, that the Soldam are not necessarily channelers per se. I mean, the women who channel are collared, but it is also that these women are. In fact, Rana was like, "I got this, Egwene. You don't have to do anything. You just stand there and don't embarrass me."
Well, it's Suroth did say that, you know, when she was talking about the respect they had for the One Power, she said the Soldam trained for years and years to be able to control it. So they did talk about. She talked about, you know, a little bit of what the Soldam went through, but I don't think we will get much of it. if any, I think we'll get that it binds them and it terrifies them, but I don't know if we'll get that stark realization in this episode. I think that might be something that comes in the beginning of the next season.
Yeah. As we start unraveling that, yeah, I can see that.
That would be like.
I'm a little bummed that we're not that the Barthanes storyline seems to be pretty wrapped up. I think he could have been a pretty interesting bad guy. I liked Barthanes.
I thought it was his mom. I was 100% positive that Annavera was the Dark Friend, and that was one of the like, oh, I'm so glad I was wrong moments, because I was totally surprised. I knew Barthanes was probably still going to be a Dark Friend, but I thought his mom was in on it too. And when to see like him, like literally his whole demeanor changes in 2 breaths, right? But she definitely one-upped him at the end. And I was like, oh, I love you, Annabelle. I love you. You're amazing.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
And he's all, just don't tell the queen. She's all, I told everybody.
I already did.
I was thinking that too. I was like, I thought Annabelle, I thought he was, but I thought she was right there with him. And I was happy to be wrong, because I think she's been one of the best surprises of this season for me.
Agree.
Right, because she was like, her whole thing was like everything for the House of Damage. Look at, I'm the only one. I'm doing everything to boost our house, and look at, I'm doing awesome. And she was, but it was dark gated. She just didn't know it.
Yeah. Robert Johnson got good on guitar too.
Yeah, Crossroads.
Yep.
Did you guys notice the parallelisms between in the opening here? First of all, Hallie Mills. I never would have pictured her being an Aes Sedai. I remember her from The Parent Trap, right? Which that movie's older than I am, and I love it. And Pollyanna, and the season 1, episode 7 was Blood Snow, and season 2, episode 7, they brought the Blood Snow back.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
fun.
Yep. I didn't actually put that together until today when we were talking about it. But yeah.
I gotta admit that I thought it was a little weird that like her foretelling was just like a 4K edit of the episode, right?
Of
like
the episode prior, yeah.
There was nothing new. No, you could even add like a little filter, like a little blurry filter, like, oh, I'm seeing it through my mind's eye. Nope, it was just like edit. That was a little cheap. I thought that was weird. A weird choice for me.
I didn't like that she had bullet point instructions to go with it. It's like, he's born, go find him, tell no one, gather, get ready. It's like, I would have liked to have seen Siuan and Moiraine put together a plan together, rather than being told by, Katara in that thing.
All right. Apparently I just like kicked a puppy. Sorry. This is a good question. Was Min's vision, the Amyrlin being Maureen's downfall, is it fulfilled? Can it get any worse than entering the Waygates with Lanfear?
It's a good question, you Onslaught.
It is a good question.
Yeah, I don't know what I think about it. I hadn't thought about it until
I think shit's going to still go down with them. I think that it's going to culminate into something more. But I'm not sure exactly what that is. But I don't think that this is the last that they are going to interact. And I don't think that, if so, that this is her downfall, unless it meant that she's hanging out with Lanfear and something happens. But I don't know. I don't think so. Y'all? Anyone?
Yeah. Okay. We just popped some mines. We Lanfeared some mines, guys.
That was Miss Bliss. That's who that was.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys didn't know? I mean, Miss Bliss from yes. Okay, so I was like 20 when that show was. Actually, I might have been. I was in my teens when Saved by the Bell first came out, I think. Yeah, because I'm the same age as Mark Paul Gosselaar, so yeah. But she was in The Parent Trap when she was a teenager, and she was in Pollyanna. Like, she did Disney movies like crazy. She was a 60s star for Disney. She's literally a lifelong in the business. She's amazing.
Yeah.
I love her.
Yeah, I'm glad that we got the foretelling. And she's like, "Is this a foretelling?" It's like, it's a now telling. It's happening right now. Right now. I'm feeling you're
right here, right now. Yeah. And it's I guess you can point out, and it's a little weird. Dragon Mount is really, the slopes of Dragon Mount are really close to Tarvalon, right?
Pretty close, yeah.
And it's so the scene where they're walking around like outside seemed like they're not cold. It didn't seem wintry at all. It seemed really nice. And then like she's like, it's happening right now. Well, it's like, yeah, that's a snowy battlefield. What, mere miles away? I thought that was pretty funny. You ever think about that? Or you want to keep talking about Parent Trap? Hey, you guys could all go to hell.
Miss Bliss, baby, Miss Bliss.
Case I'm so mad that you only brought up Parent Trap. She's like, she's been in everything.
Well, what else do we want to talk about? Anything else? Any predictions? Any mad, wild predictions that you guys have brewing?
I don't know. I just want the horn to be blown. I want to see how they're going to resolve, like, what's going to happen with Ishii at the end of this season, right? Because in the books, he gets defeated soundly. But if he's the one that's got... Oh, I do have a question. They name-dropped Mazrim Time this year. Do you think Ishamael... Because I'm pretty sure they're probably going to make Demandred Time. That was such a popular book thing. And it would be a great reveal on a TV show if they did it right. Do you think Ishamael has already released... He must have already released Demandred, and then he's off prancing around as Mazrim Time. That's my big question for this season going away. Like, because they've already name dropped Time, and if it's going to be if they're going to do Demandred, then Demandred would already have to be released, right? Yeah. So, and if Ishii gets thwarted soundly, he can't be killed, because if he's killed, then he's not going to be able to release any of the other Forsaken, if that's what his role is. Are they already released and we just don't know it? Like,
yeah, it's a good question. They did mention him. So yeah, you would think that if he is a Forsaken, then that Forsaken is obviously alive and released in the world by now. Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh, that's bad programming. I was messaging in chat. Sorry, guys. No, this is weird. This has been a great conversation. This is like a lot of cliffhangers, a lot of things that just are gonna hopefully be resolved next week for sure.
I think it's gonna be a fun episode.
It needs to be a banger. It needs to go out better than season 1, episode 8 did. It's just it's not going to be hard to do that, but this one was a little bit of a letdown for me after episode 6. So I need something to come in and kind of at least pull it back up in a different way to the same excitement that I had at the end of 6. Personally, that's my feeling. I didn't feel 7 was anywhere near as strong as 6 was, or even 5. It was still very good, but it wasn't as good as the previous 2 episodes. So hopefully 8 is just going to be like nonstop edge of my seat. I don't want to have anything. I don't want to do this. What did I just watch?
Right.
Like I did in episode 8 of season 1. Right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm feeling pretty good so far.
Yes, me too. I'm very excited. I can't wait. It's going to be amazing.
I don't think a letdown. I think it's going to be crazy. I don't have a real prediction other than I do think it will be almost nonstop action, and it's probably just going to drive me to pull all my hair out. But I think it will be just a craziness.
All right.
And you know, Tweet Chaos throwing that little. There's a big twist that nobody's seen coming. It's going to be something drastic. So, what is that?
They actually follow the text word for word. All right, so the last question, do we think those seals, those circles that were in Ishi's room, the 3 of them, do you think that's indicating that 3 more are released? Although they weren't broken, as I noticed, they seem pretty whole. DK was asking the same question. Yeah, maybe they're going to be released in some sort of mass ritual where you'll just lay them on the floor and they just pop up in his room or something. But they were not broken. Decidedly, they were not broken.
What if they're broken in his fight with Rand? If he has a fight with
Rand. Another switcheroo. Ha-ha! See, you thought you killed me. You released more.
Thank you for killing me.
You released more lieutenants.
Lieutenant.
We have an abundance of right tenants, so we need more lieutenants.
Oh my god.
We're ambidextrous tenants.
Oh Lord have mercy. Okay.
The tenant binary. There's left and right. All right, everyone. Thank you for sticking around and participating in this conversation with us. It's been a great fun. We are the Way of the Leaf. Thank you, Smack.
Yep.
Go make an online business account of some sort. So next time you're on, you have something to hawk. We're all hawking shit here. Speaking of hawking, Beth.
Yeah.
What are you hawking? What are you hawking these days?
I am going, well, my YouTube channel is growing really well. I have almost 600 subscribers because I've started doing reaction videos. So, yes, I'm very excited. I'm currently watching One Piece live action, which is freaking amazing. I have the first 3 episodes up.
What are those fans like?
Actually, there's a lot of Wheel of Time in One Piece crossover so far. Actually,
okay.
So yeah, and I'm gonna be streaming some Fortnite tonight after we're done here, and starting on Friday. I would start Thursday, but we have something else going on Thursday. Assassin's Creed Mirage comes out this week, so I will be streaming Assassin's Creed Mirage on Friday and all next week until I beat the game. So excited! So excited!
Sweet.
Yeah.
Fun.
What are you guys up to?
Dan, what are you hawking?
Me?
Oh, God.
I knew it. All right, everyone. If you haven't yet and you like what we're doing, you want to support it, we do have a membership, so you can join at a very low monthly price, and then your chats get a little colorful, a little bling, a little panache. We are, again, we live stream Tuesdays and Sundays. Sundays is our spoiler show. Tuesdays is our first time reader show with KSI and Orlok. So please join us. We're having fun all over the interwebs. Until next week, to episode 8. Run for your lives. This is The Way of the Leaf.
Yeah.